I was leaving my buddies in Uptown. I think I was like 21, and I whenever you're drunk, or at least for me, it's like I want to sleep in my own bed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to like
course.
wake up in crusty old, cigarette smelling clothes. So I was like dead set on leaving. My friends hid my keys in the freezer inside the eggs. I ended up finding them, and I walk out of the door, and they're all watching me. And I'm stumbling to my car. I get to my car. I try and open it. It won't open. They're like, Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's not your car. I'm like, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pod Gods. We got a special guest, Tom Ahles, co-owner, Edge Home Finance.
Yeah. Let's go.
Mortgage broker extraordinaire.
Legend,
absolutely.
hero, God.
Someday.
Superhero mortgage broker. So yeah, this is just like a hangout, nothing serious.
Yeah.
This isn't going anywhere big. You don't have to worry about being politically correct.
That's what
or anything.
everybody says at
Right.
first.
It's
That's what Martha Stewart said before she
got arrested.
before she got caught.
Just be yourself.
It's just
All right,
a little
let's-
trade. It's
let's-
not a big deal.
Let's start it off with a pretty easy question, maybe a pretty deep
Yeah.
question. What's if you could pick a superpower, what superpower
There
are you
you
picking?
go. Keep it light.
Probably to be able to hear people's thoughts. You know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think everything. I don't know. Like it'd be. Somebody would say it'd be cool to be invisible, but then that would kind of suck after a little bit because.
Pretty lonely existence.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be.
So I don't know. I think that's, at least for me, the hardest part to navigate is like hearing people's thoughts, right?
Who's
Most people
bullshitting you? And,
Yeah, most
Yeah.
people are kind of fake.
Yeah.
So it's like you never know if somebody's, and I'm not. My wife would tell you because I think would be an amazing poker player because she reads people really well. I kind of view everybody at 100%. And I've been burned a lot for that. So, at the same time, I try to give everybody, I don't want to say I want to lose that, but it sure would be nice to know what other people are like,
Thinking,
to be able to
yeah.
read. Yeah, without having to really care about it or think about it. You
Sure.
know?
That's kind of a good transition because one of the questions I had was, you and your wife have an awesome relationship. I know that I've kind of taken bits and pieces from watching you guys interact and just learning from, you as a hard worker and she's a stay-at-home mom and just that dynamic. What's one thing that Nicole has unintentionally taught you?
There's been a lot of things, and I can't say it's been unintentional.
Sure. Gotcha.
I mean, she's a good coach, right? And she will tell me even from grammar to, I grew up in Norton, Ohio, on a farm, baling hay, cleaning horse manure up from, like I did not, I obviously graduated, but I didn't have a real high level of education that was book smarts. So she's helped me a lot to get more refined on those, on those types of things, right? So that was probably the biggest impact for me because one, when you're in the world of business or you're dealing with consumers that you want to be dealing with, you have to have at least basic proper English.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And for me, when I worked in nightclubs and ran nightclubs, nobody gave a shit about what you're. I wasn't getting paid to write nice emails.
Right.
I was getting paid to make money, to make the business money, and to run operations. So,
Yeah.
Being in a very forward-facing business, even in originations, right? I would say, I've obviously been in it 22 years, but it wasn't near as successful as what it has been the last 10 years since we've been married.
Yeah.
So just a lot of good guidance from that standpoint, right? Things to help me where I'm stubborn. So it's not, a lot of people can't tell me things. And even she struggles with it. She'll tell you I'm still kind of a hard ass without, when she tells me to do something, sometimes she'll be like, why are you doing, and then the day later it sinks in like, yeah, that was actually pretty smart. I probably should start doing it.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I kind of, it was kind of eye-opening for me because I know your wife and Angie wanted to start a podcast, and
Yeah.
they're kind of looking to me for like guidance. And I was talking to them on the phone. This was months ago, but I was kind of telling them, like, you know, Nicole, just be yourself, just open up, and you know, whatever. And her first response was thinking of you. How am I gonna make Tom look? And I was like, man, that's awesome. That
It's a
was
good
like
relationship right
yeah,
there.
I was like, I never even thought about that. Like, how am I gonna make my partner look if I just speak from, you know, I don't want to say recklessly, but it was just cool to hear your partner be like, put you first before her wanting to just, you know, talk about whatever she wants. I was like, man, that's cool.
You know, I think a lot of it for us is just knowing our strengths and weaknesses. Like for her, she wants to do a podcast because it's fun to hang out with a friend.
Yeah.
And to talk about things. Probably like you guys are genuine. You like doing it. I actually like doing it with people that I enjoy sitting and talking with. But for her, I think if it would turn to a job, she wasn't doing it for that. So it's like our income is our family's income.
Right.
You know, when you really, and it's tough. I mean, you say we do our best to get better every day, even our relationship, right? You'll notice me with my door shut 1 hour a week because we do marriage counseling once a week. You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things to where, I don't know, by nature, I think it's hard to be with somebody for that long, especially if you're an alpha type person. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Just
It does.
Saying I'm
align.
not going to change, it doesn't matter. She didn't marry me for money because we got married in 2000. Shit, I should know this since it's recorded, but 2008,
We'll
right?
cut this. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
We'll
might have
put
to
this
edit that
together.
one. I stuttered.
Quick
too long.
response.
The first 5 years we were married, my buddy bought me a picture frame that I kept in my office. It had our wedding date on it, so it helped me remember it.
There you go.
It's a good buddy right there.
But anyway,
Shit.
anyways, I don't remember where I was going with that, but it takes a lot of work, right? That's what I was saying. I was talking about somebody being alpha changing. It's very easy for me to say, well, why the hell would I want to change anything? I'm doing just fine. Like
Right.
But she doesn't stand for that shit at all.
Right.
So I don't really have a choice. But it's helped me because, you know, she points it out to me all the time in a way that sinks into me. She was like, you know, I like Matt Ishbia, right? He's a leader for me in the Senate. She was like, you do think he doesn't take advice from people? Or like,
Shit.
like, yeah, you know, smartest people in the world, you know, surround themselves by other people that they can learn and gain information from. So
She kind of like ego checks you a little bit.
she does.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, it's still, you know, every day in marriage is still a new day. You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
to. It takes work.
100%.
Where did she grow up?
Here, Wayzata
Minnesota?
area. Yeah.
Cake eater.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's same thing. Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
everyone's a cake eater.
Why is that?
Why is that
Yeah.
Maple
Eden
Grove?
Prairie.
Like,
Tiramisu,
Rogers.
one's cake. It's still dessert. They're still dessert eaters.
So you're co-owner of Edge Home Finance, one of
Yep.
the fastest growing brokers in the nation. I love it here. I just got off a phone call with a girl who's wanting to get into to become a loan officer, and I was just telling her about Edge and how great it is, and the culture and the energy and the team and the office. And anyways, what's one thing you love about Edge? I'm sure there's many, but one thing you love about Edge and one thing that maybe you don't like so much about Edge.
Yeah, you know, it's a great question, and it's probably, truthfully, for me, they coincide one and the same.
Sure.
I like having the role that I have and not having to be in the weeds on the things that my partners handle. So what I love here is like, I like that I can be 100% all in on what I like doing, right? But still have someone to bounce ideas off of. At the same time, what I don't like is that I have partners.
Yeah.
Because it's tough, especially when you have two partners. That's naturally tough. But at the same time, it's like one of those things that I don't like, but I'm also thankful for.
Right.
So it cancels itself out for me to where I would never want to be, I don't want to say I would never want to be, but it takes on so much more time to have the oversight when you're, you know, we're running payrolls of $3 to $5 million damn near every 2 weeks, right?
That's
Yeah.
insane.
There's a lot of accounting, a lot of things that, the smallest oversight could be massive, right? And we operate off such razor thin margins as a company because we wanted to scale, and that's always been our model we didn't need to make a living off of our originators, so to speak, because all of us were producers. So yeah, that's it. I would add with that what I mean more by what I dislike. It's not having partners, but it's the fact of I don't really know if salability of a mortgage brokerage, of what really the value is. I've seen people do it before, but it's just like, to me, if you sold a real estate office, well, like, the people don't really care where they work, it's who they work for.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's just like if I'll relate it back to Matt Ishbia. If he leaves, there's no way in hell that company is that successful. It's just not. It'll still be successful, but it makes it to where at some point I would love to continue to build a company to be a size that I could have a sellable asset other than what the revenues are on a production basis, if that makes sense.
How big is the company? How many employees do you guys have? Do you know?
We're at about 865 right now.
Okay.
So, we started, now 865 is total with admin and support staff.
Yep.
We have about 736 licensed LOs right now, loan officers, and our goal was to get to 1,000 this year. And we started January 1 at 437. So,
oh my God.
It's already been.
That's a lot of growth.
I've made that many welcome flyers.
5 months, and we've added 350 some.
That's
some
wild.
Team members. So, for me, it's one of those two where it's like, it's been fun because we, not only Chris and I talked about, like, we got on the same page earlier this year with everything. It's like I said, I'm not an easy person to work with. Most business owners aren't, and partnerships are really freaking hard.
Sure.
But in my opinion, both of us pull our weight so equally that it's a major value to me, to where I can say, okay, well, screw it. I'm going to stop originating as much, and I'm going to be selling employment. Like, it's sales.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference what I'm selling. And to me, on being a broker and with our setup, I am selling the best, the cheapest, and the fastest, which doesn't normally exist. You have to go with either good, cheap, or fast.
Not all
Pick
three.
two, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
right?
there? It's like contractors that'll tell you that. Well, I'll paint that wall for you. Do you want it good? Do you want it cheap or fast?
Yeah,
Pick two.
right.
That's so funny.
But in our industry, it's like I really have, I have the best. I can choose to work for very little and still always make money, where the majority of the people that I'm hiring right now, they're still selling overpriced and not making any money.
Yeah, that blows my. This obviously. I think people just get comfortable, and it's scary going from business to business, and yeah.
That's the part to where, like, for me, the more that we get the message out and sharing people, like you've done a great job at, and helping us spread that message, like putting people's stories out there, right? It's like, hey, well, wow, I never would have thought that this transition would have been that easy, or this is so much better. I was worried about not having support, but I have this whole team of people that are constantly helping me, right? Like you said, I love the office. To me, I like being at an office. Well, I've always had one.
Yeah.
Through COVID, I didn't care. I need people around me. It's like,
For sure. You're a busy guy, always problem solving and overcoming obstacles. What's one thing you do frequently that helps with your mental health?
besides take medication.
Yeah. Besides self-medicating.
Damn.
Yeah.
It varies, right? The last couple of years, it was exercise with biking and running and swimming. This year, that hasn't been the case, but I've been golfing a lot more. Looking forward to that. But problem solving, to me, I don't necessarily need a break. I need to fix the problem. So I've been, I worked a shit ton at the beginning. Like the first 5 months of this year, it was 85, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really time to, I guess I don't have that much problem with mental health to where I can I'm happy to be at work.
Right.
I'm happy to be at home. I get home every night to tuck my daughter in. I go to her soccer sports. I fit it in, but you know,
That's amazing. I mean, there's so many people that can't say that.
Yeah.
I feel like, where so many people struggle from mental health.
Yeah.
But it's probably
And-
because
and
they
that
don't love what they
balance,
do.
too.
They don't truly enjoy their decisions they're making. Where you've found something that you love to do every single day, you can come to the office with a smile on your face because you truly love it.
yeah.
And that's just so unique. Like, you don't see that a whole lot. I'm lucky enough to say that I feel the same way about my job. As soon as I got into real estate, like, my life completely switched over.
Yeah.
Like, I was a depressed college kid. Now I'm
Having fun.
yeah,
and,
I'm a
doing
21-year-old
what you
real
like,
estate,
helping
selling
people.
houses,
Yeah.
living my life to the fullest. Like, I can't complain about it at all. So it's cool to see like-minded people that have similar situations as myself,
Yeah.
but also know that there's people out there that struggle from it as well. So
They do. I mean, I think it's. I don't know, there was Eddie Perez, who owns one of the companies we work with. He talked about the three things that he always works on, which was mental wellness, mental health, and then mental strength. Right, like the three things that he was. And I'm like, well, that sounds like all of the same
Yeah,
stuff.
I was thinking that.
He's like, no, your mental wellness is working out and doing things to stay well, and then mental. I'm gonna forget what it was, but anyways, what was it? Mental wellness, mental health was then, like, I don't know, going to the doctor, making sure you're talking about things. I think that side of it, and then mental toughness was maybe
Pushing yourself to
maybe like meditating, things like that, being able to put your state of mind in a spot to where you get. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I met him at when we had our grand opening.
Yeah.
And we were talking in depth about like vitamins and supplements and diets
he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah,
I
really
like
cool. Yeah, I kind of learned a lot just from that little
him. I still do.
conversation
He
we
always
had.
shares things like authentically, and I don't watch TV, so my phone is basically my
Right.
It's like nobody wants to admit it, but that's kind of what it is.
100%.
100%. I barely watch TV because I just watch
Yeah,
shit
you
on my
watch.
phone. Like,
That's
Yeah.
a bunch of
Instagram, TikTok. Like,
YouTube.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not a big YouTube guy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch
dude.
a whole lot of YouTube.
I'm
Other
like,
than like my podcast.
If I need something specific, I'll go there, but very rarely. I go to YouTube more not to check out loan officers' pages.
there's
'cause,
some good.
Yeah, Major has
Yeah.
his on. His is really solid, and he posts a lot of good content.
There's actually a loan officer podcast, I think is what it's called, and I learned a lot from it. It's
Yeah.
like hour-long content. You call your mom every morning on the way to work. What's one thing your mom taught you that you've been able to implement as a parent yourself?
Let's just touch. You call your mom every single day on your way to work.
Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
I call my mom every single day on the way home from work,
there you go.
just to like let her know, like, hey, I'm not going to be at home for dinner, like 90% of the time. But
Still.
It's one of those that I would say, to me, if you're not intentional, then it, like when I was in my early 20s, it's good that you call your mom in your early 20s. For me, it was like I was out being a little bit wild, working in that environment. I had no normalcy, so it's good to have it on a routine.
yeah,
Because we have a good relationship, but two, it has to be intentional. I had the same thing with my brother probably, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years ago, to where it's like, man, we never talk. And so finally, how you have their favorites on your iPhone, if you're at least in the year 2000 and have an iPhone. If they don't have any Android
Shout out.
users.
Yeah, yikes.
Android users.
Then
suck.
to me, it's like I put my brother on there, so every time I open my phone, like, doesn't happen very often, but at the same time, it happens more now than where I didn't. So my point is, I want to be intentional.
Yeah.
Intentional with that, and none of us make it out alive. So I don't know. I try to enjoy her company and conversations as long as I can. So to answer the question that you asked, though, the biggest thing I've probably learned from her that I personally would be work ethic. My mom, we grew up fairly poor for a period of time, but she always did what was ever needed, right? It wasn't ever that's how it was for her. She grew up on a farm. There was no, you get up and work and that's it. So I think for my daughter, that's probably one of the things that I've tried to instill in her. You know?
Yeah. I remember when I first heard you say that you call your mom every morning. I ended up seeing like an Instagram reel where this guy was talking about, you know, if you really think about it, you're only going to see your mom, let's say like 20 or 30 more times.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind because I was doing the math. You know, I dropped Felix off, okay, and then I pick him up. I see her twice, and I kind of did the math, and the limited amount of time that I'm going to see her is kind of shook me because like my dad passed away years ago, and then it just kind of like put into perspective like anything could happen. Like what if I just never...
It's great. It's the truth.
It's like, damn.
We're ingrained to think that way, though. It's like if we really... Let's just say we all only had 1 year to live.
Yeah.
And you looked at it that way, you would react so much differently because it's within sight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for us, I mean, I'll say me because I think I'm older than both of you. I have 40 more years. That's so far out. I've only been alive 42.
Yeah.
You don't even
Think
that's
about
too
it.
far away to worry about.
Yeah.
Right? Even though it could happen, but it's not top of mind
I got
where
what,
when
4?
Yeah. We're both convinced Brady's one of those people that just dies early.
I'm gonna die
Something.
early.
I've always thought that for me too, because
Yeah.
my dad died when he was he was 48 or something.
Yeah.
So,
That's too young.
Yeah. So that was always for me. I'm like, I'm not going to make it past that. But that's bullshit. There's enough good
medical doctors,
care out
yeah.
there to be able to, if you want to know, you can go and get the work done to see, I have this predetermined gene. I mean, you're going to spend some money, but if you want to live to 85 for the most part, you have a way to better your odds enough to where I'm a little bit of a gambling man. I'll always play the odds.
Yeah.
Like,
You know?
you remind me a lot of. Do you know who Dave Portnoy is?
No.
Owner of Barstool Sports. He's awesome.
I've seen the
pizza
show,
guy.
but I don't know the guy's name.
You remind me a lot of him. Kind of shoot from the hip, straightforward. He's like a Boston guy, just no filter kind of. He's awesome. But anyways, kind of lighting up. Wait.
Oh, don't
lightening up the mood.
That's why it started to smell down here. I was wondering, buddy.
Damn.
What's your theme song? Say you're in WWE, you're walking out to the ring.
Baseball walk-up song.
Man, that's a tough one.
That's
I mean, the thing about me, I love all music genres, but like my favorite, I really like hip hop. Right?
Yeah.
So, man, I don't know. Probably like Little Archie, We Ready or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. That just pumps
I didn't
you up.
expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. Just not
You would
that.
blast that at the old office.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
For
some of
sure.
my late night jam sessions, once it gets past about 7:38, people, you're not really talking on the phone, so I can get stuff done.
Yeah.
And I think him and I joked about this, but him and I think a lot of people that played video games, this may sound crazy, when they were younger, they get to be really effective on a computer as a professional. So I liked to play video games when I was younger on the computer. Like it was an old school computer game, first person shooter. So now I'm like 3 screens. I can knock out 7 times faster tasks than most people.
Normal. Wow. That's actually crazy. What games did you play way back
I only
when?
played I didn't play a lot. I only played one, and it was called Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike, like one, but it was 1 point. It was sweet, man. I loved it.
It's a great game.
2048, right?
Yeah. That was Counter Strike was.
It was fun.
So
there's
good.
still a lot of buddies that I met from playing that. High-level professionals that are good with
With the
esports.
computer?
Have you thought about investing in like esports stuff?
No.
No.
To me, I don't like venturing out. I like investing and I like gambling. I don't like doing them both at the same time. So for me, it's like if I know I can. Right now, you can get double-digit returns fairly easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Diversifying to hope for a 10,000% return. The odds on that are.
Esports is kind of. I mean, everybody starts a team and then it just.
I've seen what it was.
Dwindles
It's pretty.
You've what?
The esports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Counter Strike, and
Yes.
they have teams
Yes.
and FaZe and Optics. Anyways, but you've stated in the past that one of your biggest pet peeves is when people steal your time. When you're on your deathbed one day, looking back on your life, what do you think you'll wish you spent more time doing?
I thought we were lightening it up, the mood.
The theme song was, and now we're back to...
I don't know. I mean, I don't really live life to have regrets. And it sounds crazy because I'm sure I've made mistakes.
Sure.
But I've never really regretted, I've had times where I've had to correct course a little, Especially my wife will help with that. Like, hey, your daughter's going to turn 18 in 4 years. This is it. So I'll correct course sometime, but I don't know. I don't know that I'll have one, to be honest with you. I don't really like having regrets. If I'm gonna do something, then why am I gonna? Then I'm a bad decision maker. Not to say you can't make a bad decision, but it's even if I did something I regretted, I can change it really quick.
It's funny, I worked at a nursing home, and I would ask a lot of those introspective questions to the residents who are on their deathbed, and a lot of them would say, "I regret working so much."
Yeah.
But I feel like with you genuinely enjoy working to provide for your family. And so I couldn't see that being a regret for you.
No, not really. I mean, I would need the time even if I was independently wealthy, which means I was a trust fund baby.
Sure.
Right? And I didn't have to work. I still would need time for myself. And it's I don't know, some people like woodworking. It doesn't mean they retire and do woodworking. Well, to me, it's I don't know, let's sell money. I mean, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
It's such a, I don't know. I enjoy it, and it's as much stress as what there is at times. It's really, I don't know. It's just if somebody likes playing basketball and they make it to the NBA, I don't think they dread. I wish I wouldn't have played so many NBA games.
Yeah.
When they're,
That's a good point.
When they're in their mansion and
living off the coast of
they got to
Sicily.
enjoy a hell of a lot more of life than somebody who maybe, into. I don't know.
I feel like you're made for this job.
Yeah.
If you could say you could go back in time, and you could be the best at whatever you chose.
Yeah.
Would you still be a mortgage broker, or would you be a model or a
golfer?
You know what I mean? Or a golfer.
I don't think anyone ever intended to be a mortgage broker, by the way.
That's true.
That's a good
It's
point.
one of those things oh, wait, that guy made how much? And he did what? Shut up, really?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? 20 hours? Oh, sign me up. Or, they're selling something else, and it's basic sales. If I'm in the business of selling something, I could sell a lot of tables and make $1, or I could sell the house that it's in and make thousands.
Right.
It's a good point.
That's a really good point.
So...
let's touch on
I want to finish that one.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Read me your question again on that one, because I had a really good thought on it. And then it lost me.
death.
What would you wish you would have spent? Oh, are you talking about?
Which I would have spent more time doing? Is what you said?
Yeah, there was that one, but then the one I asked after.
Oh, if I could come back as another career?
Just do
What
a
would that
dream
be?
job or whatever
Yeah,
you'd want to do, and be the best at it.
Yeah,
Astronaut.
I would have liked to be an attorney.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what we
he's
do.
a fighter. I could
We argue
totally.
all the time. I mean, and you're looking at guidelines. So who am I arguing with? Arguing with an underwriter. They're the ones that have the authority. I need to be able to prove a point based on guidelines, the same as you look at code, or you look at laws, or what. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Right. So the crazy part is I say that because I think that's what I would have want to have done if I could have went to law school and everything else. But looking back on it, I don't think I would have, I hate to say it, but we make way more money than attorneys do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, not to say that everything's about money, but to me, it's a byproduct of success, and I like to be successful. I want to work hard to be successful.
For sure.
I always try to have a rabbit, so to speak. And even when I went out to a boot camp in Sioux Falls, that was a big thing that Chris Vincent who owns Windsor was talking about. He's like, all of my team members, I set them with a rabbit. Like somebody to be chasing. Not too good for them because they won't relate enough. Who's the guy that's doing 30% better than you are, you know, guy or gal, and then they partner up, and it's that person's job, and another person has someone to where they're always in, not only they learning from them to get that little bit better, but competing.
Yeah.
So,
who are you competing with? Who's your...
right now, you know, truthfully, I want to be the number one broker in the country. So Nexa is number one. We're number two. So I think it's a pretty clear answer, you know, for that. But with that being said, it's the same thing. It's competition, right? He's done an amazing thing, built a great company. I say from size-wise and everything else, I have a different vision, but that's a great part about our country is people can start a business and run it however they want. You know, as long as it's legal, because it's all governed, you know what I mean? But to me, that's the goal, right? I want to be, even if we get to 1,000 loan officers by the end of this year, when we get there, I want to be at the production level that they are with 25. You know, I'd rather have 1,000 elite soldiers than 2,500 not elite soldiers.
So what happens when we get, hypothetically, we get every great LO? What's next for Edge? Then what? Just keep grinding?
I think that's possible, right?
Okay.
I mean, but I think the idea is to be better than yesterday, right? I mean, I set short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals, right? Short-term goal always comes into play, though. We get to the point to where 40 years from now, we've been number one forever, we got 40,000 employees, and there's no other mortgage companies around, then how do we get better at serving our clients, giving a better referable experience, you know, using technology, just continue to get better. I think that's why I heard this from a realtor lately, but it made me think of even you. It's like, why do we like golf? It's like, you can be great at golf, and I'm great at golf, yet you do something wrong every time. You need to be able to think like, I can come back and there's something, I had one either bad shot or a bad putt or a bad chip, or like, you know, you still did well enough to be a pro golfer. Every day you come out, you got to try to get a little better.
I remember shooting 9 under before and just being like, God, I left like 4 shots out there. Like,
right? You know it.
And people are like, what do you mean? How? And it's like you just said it, there's always improvement to be made.
That Kobe mentality.
It is. I love Kobe. R.I.P.
I love Kobe. So you're kind of talking about goals down the road. Would you say you live, I don't think you live in the past, but would you say you live more in the past, future, or present? Like, do you tend to future trip at all?
No.
No?
Zero. No. I would say I'm probably a click past the present.
Yeah.
I'm not always up to speed with everything, but I'm not that far off either.
Okay.
You know?
I like that.
It's a good answer.
That is a really good answer.
There's too many good answers. We need to like fuck up or something.
Some good clips. What role does faith play in your life?
You know, that's one of the things, just like with my mom, I have to make a 15-minute phone call every day to have that relationship, right? So faith has played a very big role at times and a very minimal role at times based on my actions, right? And what it is as a priority to me. So there's sometimes I'm very plugged in, sometimes I'm not, but I always have the basics of what, you know, I believe. I'm not I'll say like there's only one religion and this is the way it goes. I've always said I'm more spiritual, yet I do believe in stories that were written by however many I don't know all the books of the Bible, but those are basically stories that all these different people wrote. And no matter how many times it could be rewritten, there's something happen. You're going to look at it and say, okay, that could happen. And believe in that or believe in something else. I think religion or spirituality is good because it knows that you're not the one in charge. Right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's been, I don't want to say hit or miss, but I also don't like being full of shit either, right? There's times to where I feel very in touch and times that I don't, right?
Yeah.
And it's all based on whether or not I'm reaching out, right?
Yeah, I meet with Bob Muse probably every other week, and he's my mentor, old sponsor.
Yep.
And every time I come to him with like something, whether it has to do with my relationship with Gene or work or whatever I'm going through, he's always like, "You should try praying."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I kind of brush it off every time.
Yes.
And just recently I started getting up early in the morning and praying, and then at night praying again, but like more just like thanking God, like practicing gratitude.
Practicing gratitude, yeah.
And it's just getting into that habit because if you go so long detached, at least for me, without, you're detached from God or a God, you kind of develop this God complex that
100%.
you're like the all-saying,
100%.
It's the world just starts weighing on your shoulders because you can't let go of, I don't know, it's a whole mind fuck, but
It is.
really though,
It is.
seriously, it's
But it's the truth, though. Like I said, if you don't do it, you can't expect to have the action for it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's whether it's your marriage, whether it's your business, whether it's your golf skills, whether it's like you have to spend time in the actual activity. So
Yeah.
if you want to have, like for me, and that's been hard because it's always there, but I'm not always giving it the attention it needs.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just have like one or two more. Did you have any?
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, okay. What do you think's missing in this world? As of right now, I feel like, at least for me, it's kind of, the world feels a little chaotic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of how the media is portraying it, or if it's just social media.
Has it always felt that way though?
I was probably more naive when I was younger, so I didn't.
I feel like I'm the
realize
same
it.
way. Like, I feel like I've very started recently to like actually pay attention to the world
Starting
and
to
everything
wake up
that's
a little
going.
bit to
Yeah.
the BS. Yeah. So, what do you think's missing?
I very much compartmentalize my own life. I kind of live in a bubble.
Yeah.
So
Smart though. Seriously.
it's like I know, like if I really had to think about that, it would take me a little bit to think. Okay, well, what would make the most massive impact to stop someone from struggling? Maybe it's water. Maybe it's food.
Right.
I have no idea. I know that there are a lot of people that don't have basic needs.
Yeah.
So I don't know, probably that, whatever that
Water.
would be, food, water.
The basics. Yeah.
I mean, I would want to do something that would have the largest impact. I just don't know what that is,
Yeah.
right? I tend to, it's one of those things to where not to say I don't think about others, but I personally can't change that right now. I'll try to help in some way, but it's why I do, fundraisers for growing my mustache and looking like a weird, I do.
I wouldn't
awesome,
say you look
but-
like a weirdo.
Not at all.
Yeah, that was
no,
cool.
It was
you
sick.
look great. I
It
wish it
was,
was still there.
But I don't know. I guess that's, you got me on that one. That's a stumper, but it's like, I don't, whatever would make the greatest impact to stop people from whoever suffers the most.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that is.
Sometimes the best thing you can do is just keeping your side of the street clean and lead by example, kind of like what you do anyways. So I don't know. Let's see. Do I have?
You talked about nightclubs.
Yeah.
Can we touch on that?
Yeah, sure. I don't care. That was blast.
What was it? What I have no clue. No
Yeah,
clue any
so-
of this.
When I was in high school, right, I started, my senior year, I started working at Applebee's. I was a waiter, Remember I had to wear the stupid hat with the flare? Oh, that was
Oh,
miserable.
I would pay good money for a picture of Tom.
My wife has a picture of that too. I know my mom does.
Nicole, we're getting it.
Put that up on screen.
But anyways, one of the girls that worked there, her boyfriend ran a nightclub in Cleveland, and he was like, "Oh man, my bar back canceled." He's like, "You want to come up and work?" I'm like, well, hell yeah, that sounds odd. I think I was 17. I think I
Yeah.
know I was 17 at that time. So I've never even I wouldn't go into clubs. So 17, started bar backing. It was on the weekends. Within like 3 weeks, I was promoted to assistant manager because I was just like, I don't know. I worked hard and it wasn't really rocket science, speed, same thing. If we ran nightclubs that were 2-3 hours, 2 nights a week is where you have to make all your money.
Yeah.
So, assistant manager, when I graduated high school, then went to college for like 6 days.
Where?
Akron, and then they offered me a general manager position. I had to go to Dayton, Ohio, which was like 3 hours south of where I lived, to go have my first club. And at that point,
Was it good money?
Huh?
Was it good money?
Yeah, it was like 130.
It's not bad.
Wasn't bad.
Pocket
Back then
change compared
too.
to
I mean,
now.
when was that? The early 2000s?
Yeah, 99 to 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's solid.
Ballin'.
Yeah, you were balling.
Yeah, it was fun. And then from there, it was like, I went from city to city doing the same, worked my way up their corporate ladder. They had 38 clubs all over the country, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
And then what?
Huh?
I think you told me this before, but I can't remember. And then what?
How did you
just got
become
out?
alone
And was
out
like,
there?
fuck
I was
this,
lived
or-
in, I did it for 4 years basically, because I got in when I was 17. No, 5 years, because it was 22 when I got into the, it's been 20 years for me in the mortgage industry basically. I was staying in hotels for like 4 years, 3 years, to the point to where I didn't have my own pillow, right? I didn't have like basic shit that I wanted to have like my own, because the job required me to travel all over it. So I got sick of traveling.
That makes sense. And then
And loan out, it just fell into
And
your
the
Mm.
hands.
lifestyle. I mean, it was
fast paced, I'm sure.
I'm very much subjective to my environment. I like to have fun.
Yeah.
And that was a fun industry.
Yeah, I bet.
So I still got shit done and made everything happen, but it's the fact where like, okay, we did a great job. Now it's Sunday night at service industry night. Oh wait, that's Monday night at this place. They have another service industry night. And then you end up just in that constant environment.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to change, but I wasn't sure what.
And then when did you meet Nicole? Was that?
So probably 2005, for the first time. We went on a double date. She was dating a buddy of mine, and she was friends with a girl that I was dating.
Just hit it off, and
We just went out and played pool. Like the four of us did it, and think anything of it. And then we ran into each other then 4 years later.
oh, okay.
3-4 years later,
Wow.
when we were both
The rest
single.
is
and-
history.
Yeah, worked out good. She tried blowing me off the first night, and we were
They could be
supposed to go
taken
see a
around.
movie.
I mean, not blowing him off like.
I thought about that afterwards. Like you prefaced it wasn't a PG podcast, but at the same time,
Fuck no.
Don't want her to. You said I blew you off the first time. But we were supposed to go to see a movie, and she's like, "Oh, my friends just came into town." I'm like, cool, have a good night, catch up sometime. And then we ended up seeing each other that night because her friend wanted to go out for a little bit. I was out. So from there, that was it.
Did you know right away? Like,
I don't know. I hate to say yes, but I was definitely open to the concept of it.
Yeah.
You know?
that's cool. Shit, I think I only have like one more question, but if you could, or do you have something?
Nope.
Okay. Where was it? If you could go back, I feel like I asked you this in our last origin story, but if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self one piece of advice with something you know now, what would you tell him?
Probably not to drink and drive.
Yeah,
Because
I would tell myself that too.
once again, it's like it, but it was like, I don't know.
It's so fun though.
It was one of those things that it's like ego. So I could put that in. I've had a lot of consequences from ego, and you fuel it with alcohol, then you become 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was that age of 18 to, 32, 33, I mean, I was,
Living fast.
yeah. So,
I have a good story. I was leaving my buddies. Did I tell you this? Leaving my buddy. Okay, I couldn't remember if I was leaving my buddies in Uptown. I think I was like 21, and I whenever you're drunk, or at least for me, it's like I want to sleep in my own bed.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to
of
like
course.
wake up in crusty old cigarette smelling clothes. So I was like dead set on leaving. My friends hid my keys in the freezer inside the eggs. I ended up finding them, and I walk out of the door, and they're all watching me. And I'm stumbling to my car. I get to my car. I try and open it. It won't open. They're like, Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's not your car. I'm like, fuck. So then I went into I found my car, and I ended up driving home. And luckily, nothing happened that night.
So many people make that stupid decision.
So
right?
dumb.
I know for me, it wasn't like I ever drove bombed. It was like I got a DUI at a .08, right? That used to be legal. It was like maybe a year before it was .10.
Yeah.
Like this was when I was younger. And I used to be like, it's no big deal. Like I was legal that short amount of time ago. But then I went to church with my wife, and we've moved churches since then. And I heard this story. This guy that was there, he lost his wife and the 3 kids on a road in Wisconsin because the guy swerved over a little on a 2-lane road.
Oh, dude.
And he was at a .08. And it's like, okay, it's like the selfishness of it. It's hard sometimes to admit when we're bad at something. Like that took me a long time still to process. Like you make poor decisions when you're just so like don't practice recidivism. Don't put yourself in a position that you can make those decisions in.
I remember
like if you're gonna drink, you shouldn't have a car.
Yeah.
If you're gonna to where it's just I don't know. It's probably one of the biggest flaws I would say that I've had in my entire life. For a deep answer for you,
It's embarrassing too. I got a DUI, one of them, and I had to go to like one of those classes where the mom was talking about
the mad classes.
Her kid got killed, and it was just like
it's one of those things like in our is it 7-county or 6-county metro or 7-county metro here, 1 out of every 6 people,
Wow.
So it's
get a DUI.
Yeah.
That's I believe it.
One of the highest
sure.
concentrations. Probably because our police are damn good at it.
Yeah.
Probably.
But
It's not a bad thing, though, right?
no, it isn't. I mean, it's it's one of those things that our country has been really. You can't even go to Canada. You get one. It's like you had an armed robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think it's
completely
third
different.
one's a felony here. The first
third
two are
and 10.
misdemeanor.
Third and 10 years is.
Yeah.
Do you think you get one in Canada? They kick you into the U.S. They send you down to New Orleans.
Oh shit. Well, cool. I thank you so much for doing this,
Yes.
Tom. Really appreciate it. I
Yeah,
know
it
you're
was fun.
busy, and it's
Busy
always
man.
good to like catch up and just hear this side of you. Just non-business related, really.
It was
and-
good. I was in a
yeah.
good mood today too. We had a record-breaking month
Fuck
last
yeah.
month, and
Let's tell Brady that.
Yeah.
next month though, I want to hit 1,000. Not 1,000 loan officers, 1,000
Units.
loans.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
probably did like 8. It said 860 or 850, but
Something
we have
like
a
that.
couple trailing. We'll probably be at like 890.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
another 110 loans. We're at 1,000. That's, I remember when I started Edge, the companies that we were doing business with, like the UWMs, they weren't doing 1,000 like the top ones, the banks. So like, it's cool to see the broker channel growing a lot
Fuck
too.
yeah.
But, I'm excited for it.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
So thanks. Good to see you guys. Look forward to playing golf.
Yes,
week,
next
by the way.
I want to hear
Thursday.
about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
We got a lot of stuff coming for the podcast, I feel like.
Yeah,
a lot
we're
of new
trying to get
venues
some,
coming, a lot of new guests.
Got an apartment today by my house.
Yep.
Good.
It's sick.
Excited.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.